So, welcome back.
Hey, welcome, John. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're so excited to have you on the podcast today.
You know, it's great. We're excited to have you.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I'm glad to be here too as well.
As am I, as a host and a guest.
Yeah, that's what we figured. We should have you on as a guest. We had your brother on for the very first episode.
Yeah.
And we talked about these all things otherwise. And, you know, we didn't really get into a history of how you started in the band and all those great, fantastic things. So I figured, you know what? We got to do that episode. So, you know, while it's still early in our careers, let's get into that.
Our podcasting careers.
Yeah.
No, it's been cool. We've gotten we've put in a couple episodes now.
Yeah. We're getting deeper.
I'm stoked to, share it's fun because, with my brother and our band otherwise and all the fun stuff we've done over the years together, there's always three sides to every coin.
Yeah, there definitely is.
It's funny as we get further and further along in our lives and we'll talk about certain things with my brother specifically. I'm like, wait, how did that happen? What happened?
Well, I have conversations with you guys, and the story is usually heads and tails when I talk to you guys. So you guys definitely see things from different perspectives.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, we definitely. There's the other, and then there's the wise.
Right.
and sometimes it's one or the other. Sometimes I'm the wise and he's the other, and then sometimes he's the wise and I'm the other.
Right.
Like with how we feel on things or how things went down or whatever, but. There are.
What about in the business decision making? I know the answer to this, but kind of throw it out for the viewers there. Who's making all the business decisions in the band?
Yeah, well, I push them forward, but what makes me make the decisions is like I do my best to always let my brother know what's going on.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I want your opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And if we don't get in, if the opinion doesn't come out, or it's just, then I'll just take care of it. But whenever stuff is trying to take place, I'm like, I want to make sure that he's absolutely included because he's, as we've stated, super smart.
Yeah, he definitely is. And I mean, the kind of the perspective that I see it from between the two of you too is that I think he releases the responsibility to you because he trusts that you're going to do things the way I think he expects them. And sometimes I've seen him respond like the decision that was made isn't the right decision, or it should have went this way or that. But looking at him from a business partner perspective, he's pretty lenient about those things, which is good when you're trying to run a business and grow a business, because a lot of the times business partners can get in the way. Yeah. And if you guys are back and forth fighting all the time, then all the energy is wasted on arguing rather than the company being able to move forward.
Yeah. It's a funny thing when we talk about, otherwise in our band and my brother and I's relationship, because, he's my big brother, my business partner, and my lead singer. Mm-hmm. And, all three of those things are three very different things.
That's a triple-headed snake, dude.
Yeah, man. It's
and they all can bite back
it's
hard.
That's a Godzillionaire right there, man.
Right.
It's wild, And so, there's all, we have been through so much. And I say, if memories had monetary value, we'd be the richest dudes in the world,
Yeah.
But yeah, I joined the band a week before my 16th birthday, and it's the only band I've really ever been. I was in like quick stuff like beforehand, but it was really just
so before otherwise you were in a couple other bands.
Yeah, my first ever band was called Bad Potatoes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where'd you guys come up with that name?
I don't know. I think I just said we were like wanting to be like a punk band that we didn't even play punk, but Blink 182. So it was like I really wish I could remember, but this was like months before I went to LVA and played like one song. I just played with a drummer, this girl named Bree. So it was like, it was cool. Yeah, we were called Bad Potatoes, and
Bad Potatoes, and
yeah.
the lead singer's name was.
There was no lead singer. It was
There's
just
no.
music. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
and then
Was it because your brother was like, "You're too young to join the band," so you were like, "Screw it, I'll go get my own band"?
Yeah,
Was that it?
No,
Yeah.
even at the time, I hadn't even. I was just too young to even be considered.
Okay.
And like I wasn't even trying to be in the band. I was there all the time. We were just hanging out, and it was cool because music had become such a big part of our lives. And it's funny. There was I think it was called Cafe Roma across the street from UNLV. And when my brother was first coming up, he's at UNLV, and I think I was in 8th grade, 7th or 8th grade, and it was a Monday night open mic, and my brother was playing a couple songs with the guys that were in the band at the time, and I remember my mom and dad allowing me to go hang out at this open mic after dark because it was the band, because it was like music. And like my brother was like, "Mom, no, it's music. It's okay. We'll sit him in the side over here."
Were your parents strict with those kind of things when you guys were younger?
Well, that was like the moment when I realized like, oh my gosh, I have school tomorrow morning, but I could stay out because of this, because of the band, which I wasn't in, but my brother had. And so I was just like, oh my gosh, this is freedom. Hey, this is it. And I never looked back.
You were 16 at that time.
No, dude, I was in 8th grade.
Oh, that was 8th grade. So 13.
That was just when I was like, we got to do this,
Uh-huh.
It was what
it's going to be a family affair.
Yeah. It's like, I was like, I got to be in on this, man.
Okay.
Because it's not that they, and later on, but at that point I was in 8th grade. So yes, it was, get home. Like, what are you doing? But the fact that it was like a Monday night and it was past the weekend, but they were like, okay, you could stay out for this. And I realized it years later. I'm like, man, that was when it all started.
I remember my parents allowed me when I was 13 years old. I was allowed to stay up to watch 90210.
Nice.
Which was almost just as exciting as being in a band.
Yeah, I bet, dude. Oh man. So yeah, that was then I played in a band called that was around 8th grade, was Bad Potatoes, that led into 9th grade, going to LVA, the Las Vegas Academy. I played in a band called The Lucid Standpoint.
The Lucid Standpoint. Look at you guys getting all professional with it.
I know, we were at the art school, we were at LVA and everybody was an artist.
Professional.
The Lucid Standpoint.
Oh, the Lucid Standpoint.
Yeah.
And what did that mean?
I have no idea, dude.
Okay.
I have no idea.
I love the word lucid. He loved the word standpoint. We put them together and it's a term.
Yeah, I actually joined the band. Like, they were already playing together. And that was a band. It was Evan Carlisle, Andy Roberts, and Cody Cook. And 3 guys. I was a guitar major with Evan Carlisle. And it was cool. They had a website.
Nice.
Like that was when it was like coming up, and MySpace, and and then
were there any other bands that came up that went to LV Academy? Is there any other musicians that came out of that school?
There were some that like popped in and out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they were really it may have changed since I was there, but I don't know if there's really any homegrown like original acts. A lot of actors and actresses, and Neo went to LVA. Who else went there?
Was he there for music, Neo?
I'm honestly not sure. I should know that better.
Yeah.
Maybe theater, singing, choir, maybe. But no like homegrown bands, really. But
I didn't even know that Neo was from Las Vegas, so that's cool.
Yeah,
I like Neo. He's a great R&B singer.
Yeah, totally. And so, let's see, what's that? Ooh, Alex coming up. Neo, there we go. Julianne Hill. Molly Bernard, I graduated with her.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, dude? Where's my name, man? Come on.
There isn't even another. It says more items. If you click more items,
it's probably not up there. They didn't get Matthew Googler's. That's cool though, man. Look at that, Robert Jarrett. Yeah, Molly Bernard. That's so great. I had science with her. Julianne Hugh, or Huff. I always screw it up. Almost dated her.
Almost dated her. What happened?
We had a friend named Billy. It's
Uh-huh.
so funny that we're telling this story. He was in love with her, and he did not want me to go after her. And he said, "Please, man, I'm in love with Julianne. I love her." I don't think he'd even talked to her. And I was like, "You know what, man? You're my boy." And I had befriended her. We're like texting each other and planning to hang out. And I said, "You know what, Billy? If you love her, man, I won't talk to her." And I didn't talk to her, even though I had her number and we had flirted and had all the fun that high school kids have in their texts and planning to hang out. And then we didn't. And then Billy never spoke to her. So there's another notable one. But yeah, LVA was awesome.
Do you
LVA
still have her
awesome.
number?
Probably not, honestly. I know, right?
Alex asked for it earlier.
Yeah, nice. She's like superstardom now, you know?
Yeah, she is. She's
which is super cool to have been in that kind of a scenario. And there's so many kids, especially when I was there, that that were that talented.
Yeah.
You know, even for me in our small guitar major program, by no means was I the best guitarist at all, you know?
Yeah.
But I ended up on some covers of myself from playing guitar.
Yeah. Cover of the magazine back here.
And
there,
it just
Alex,
goes
right
to show.
And there he is.
Oh, right up down. Right out of the scene. Right.
His head is just cut off.
Right around that time, there's just amazing artists, you know, and a lot that didn't get to maybe do the things that they really could have done very, very well. So then I played in Lucid Standpoint for a little bit, and then we the same friend Billy, we were rocking out. I was getting closer and closer to getting into Otherwise. It was becoming more and more, this is going to happen. But then we started jamming with this kid named Brendan, and we were starting a band with him. And he came over to my parents' house. We rocked out a handful of times together. We were planning this band, and then he got grounded, and so we couldn't jam anymore. Okay. And so I was like, all right, whatever, man. That guy Brendan that we met at the party in Summerlin, dang, he was a good singer. Whatever, dude. I'm joining Otherwise. We move on with our lives, and
he might have started his own little band.
And so then my buddy Billy, which I saw him for the first time in like 17 years a few weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah, at the gym. I was like, Billy, what? Yeah, Julianne Hough, man. Nice. But he called me, like months and months went by. We moved on. I think it was actually like the next school year or something, maybe a little sooner. 8 months goes by. And at the time, MySpace would have these like the best bands or like the #1 bands on the, and Dashboard Confessional. There was a time where it was like Dashboard Confessional was #1. Yeah. It was just huge on MySpace Music. And then that
sounds like that was like right around 2000, 2002, something in
around
there, right?
like 2004, 2005.
Okay.
And yeah, right in that area. And then Billy said, "Hey, man, go look at #2." You know, and I would see the #2 band a lot, and it was Panic at the Disco, right? And I'm like, okay, well, what about Panic? Yeah, I've seen this name. It's a strange name. It's a weird band name, right? He's like, go click on the Facebook, go scroll down, go look. And I'm like looking at the picture of the band. He's like, look who the lead singer is. And I see the name, and it's Brendan Urie of Panic at the Disco. And he looked different. He looked all like rock starred out, you know, just like quick. Yeah. And I'm like, it was like mind blowing because they became, their debut album sold like 1 million records, like genuinely sold.
They were huge. Yeah.
Yeah. So before I was in Otherwise, I did play a handful of times with Brendan Urie of Panic at the Disco.
Talk to him anymore?
No. Yeah. And that was like such a short-lived thing, you know?
Right.
Like I
He
would
was
have.
pissed at you because you told him, "Hey, take a hike, dude, if you're grounded."
Yeah. But those are some classic things that took place. And then a week before my 16th birthday, it was time to play with Otherwise.
Okay. Didn't you, just kind of staying on that same Panic at the Disco topic, didn't you write a song with a producer with Panic at the Disco? I thought that.
We wrote we wrote a song with a guy
On Defy,
Scott, Goliath.
Goliath, yeah.
Yeah, he had was it Panic or man? It gets so blurry, dude. You know, it's
Right.
like we literally talk about things. It's like, wait, what happened? He had done some work with Panic at the Disco.
Okay.
But he had also done work with All American Rejects. He's a keyboard player for All American Rejects.
Okay.
At the time, I think.
Okay.
I think, man. It's so funny because it just gets so blurry. All the LA.
Well, a lot of people don't realize is how small the music community actually is, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, you've worked with people that have worked with other people that have worked with other people that worked with Michael Jackson.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Is that 7 steps to Kevin
Bacon?
thing, right?
Yeah, man. It is really, sometimes it's a really great thing, and sometimes, and maybe in business, like other forms of business, it must be the same, but.
It definitely is in my industry. My industry is really, really small industry too. And I mean, we work with a lot of people who, well, they used to work here and now they work there, and then they work there and now they work here.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's a crazy thing because you got to be real careful, like it is a very, very small industry. And, we upset a lot. We upset some like major players in the game.
Mm-hmm.
We upset them from, a number of reasons, and they upset us, you know, and a thing, that helped teach us how it's so small is, hey man, be careful who you upset, right? Or be careful who you speak up against,
right?
So
yeah, Dave had mentioned that in an earlier podcast, that it's like, hey man, the ties are close. Mm-hmm. So you just got to be careful who you say and what you say, because, I mean, I think in any, even in our industry, it's like, you never know, that guy could eventually be your boss next month,
Yeah.
So just be careful who you say and how you say it.
Yeah. Always. And it's an interesting thing too, when you're like rocking and rolling, Yeah. And then one thing from my brother's perspective, he'd be like, well, those guys did it. Those guys act like assholes, and it's like, yeah, well, do you know who their uncle is? Or do you know how much money they make, their company, their label? And so It's like it's a weird balance of like, oh, you're a bad person. Well, how much money? He's not that bad.
Right.
Right. But then if, you're not making a huge ton of money for a label and you say one thing, then they're just like, oh, he's the worst.
You're done. Well, I mean, this is the era. Today's day and age, this is the era of cancellation, right? Mm-hmm. And even on a small platform, they can cancel you out for saying the wrong thing or doing the wrong thing or not liking the right person. Or, so you definitely got to be careful with any of that kind of stuff these days.
Yeah. So we joined the band, and I was studying at the Las Vegas Academy. It was awesome. Mr. Swick, Bill Swick, he's still my mentor to this day with everything with Life by Music, with LBM. That's a big reason how and why it felt so right to turn the motto into an organization and to try to create scenarios and events and fundraising and resources for kids to get the opportunity to play music. Mm-hmm. Because when I will rewind a little bit, I, in 8th grade, was going to go to my zone school, Valley High School, which is where my brother went, which is where our family childhood home still is. And in the literally last couple months of 8th grade, my girlfriend at the time was going to LVA, and I started hanging out with a couple of her friends. And the one guy was going to LVA, and the other friend was going to LVA, and LVA was starting a guitar program. So I'm like, maybe I got to go to LVA, man.
Right.
Me and girl are going to be together forever. You know, I got
to go to the same
we
high
got to
school.
be together. So LVA was starting its guitar program that year in 2002. It had never started there. And Mr. Swick was going from being a guitar teacher at Sig Rogage Middle School and starting the program there. They needed guitar players. They needed people to apply for the program. And I had never read music in my life. And part of the audition process was to sight read some music. Mm-hmm. And I said, I can't do it. I'm sorry. I tried really hard to figure it out, like leading up, and I was freaking out about it. But I just couldn't. They showed me the notes, and I was like, I'm sorry, I can't. I don't know how to read music. But I prepared a scale and I prepared a piece, which the finger picking piece was Smashing Pumpkins' version of Landslide.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I played those things and talked to them, and I was sure I wasn't going to get in because I didn't do the sight reading part. Mm-hmm. And a few months later, got the acceptance letter. So, Mr. Swick, all the credit to him is he that's the man there right there. Bill Swick. That is my guitar Yoda right there. I pay all the respect and credit to that man for helping, for accepting me into the Las Vegas Academy Guitar Program. And he put me up on the damn wall. So the Black Box Theater, where all those notable alumni, they all know where the Black Box Theater is at LVA. Mr. Swick put up a big old poster of me on the door going in the classroom. Yeah,
that's on the door.
It was like super. It's not there any. It like literally.
Oh, they took it down. Yeah, because
it like melted away.
Right.
Literally. But he has always been so proud, and we to this day we'll get food.
He still teaches there too, right?
No, he retired. Okay. He retired.
He did. All right.
Probably 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay.
And it was just an amazing experience to be able to play guitar every single day.
Yeah.
Met some amazing guys, and that was kind of the start of because I was learning from a genius guru like Bill Swick. I was able to bring the level of six string in the band up, and things started getting a little bit more serious.
Yeah,
the band was. Our songs were getting better, and we were getting really serious about let's make this happen,
Were you and your brother at that time then working together every day on music? Like every single day, that's what you guys did? Or was it kind of like, yeah, we'll get together every once in a while and we'll throw some music together?
No, it was every day. It was rehearse every day. Mm-hmm. It was get home from school, go to the gym, and then we had rehearsal. Because the other guys would be getting off work, and I was the youngest guy in the band by years. 8.
Your brother is how much older than you?
8 years.
8 years older.
8 years older. And I say it's 8 years, but he's 8 years younger, and I'm 8. He's 4 years younger, and I'm 4 years older. So we just kind of meet
in the middle.
Meet in the middle there.
Sure.
But yeah, I'll credit back to the Academy and Mr. Swick for giving me that opportunity, And now to this day, it's like, okay, how do we get guitar to kids? How do we give music to kids who might not have gotten that opportunity? And obviously, not in such a deep, offering them a 4-year curriculum, but. I was talking to Jess today. We were at St. Jude's Ranch for children. And we did the toy drive years ago for it. I still feel so embarrassed when I see the trash cans out there that you had to wrap them. I'm like, bro, it's got to say Life by Music on it. But we were getting it going,
let's kind of rewind back to where you first started that whole thing. Cause I remember, when we first met, I think we knew each other a couple months at that time. And, we started, we had a snowboard press out in the back, and we had a printer that would print dye sublimation so that we could dye sublimate the snowboards for the snowboard company that we had here. And we changed that up a little bit to start to dye sub some polyester hoodies and shirts and stuff
Yeah.
for Life by Music. What was the concept back then, and kind of start out,
Sure.
when did you first think that up? And
Yeah.
I mean, I want to say that goes back to like 2012 at least.
Well, yeah. So that actually lines right. So in once go through LVA, stay in town. I didn't go to Berkeley, where Mr. Swick would have helped me go right to the School of Music in Berkeley.
Yeah.
And that was kind of like the next, if you want to do that at the time, or go wherever you want to go. Chapman University was knocking at my door to come be a guitar major there.
Yeah.
In Orange County, and I couldn't leave because otherwise I had to sign a record deal, man.
Yeah.
And so
do you think, just give us a little insight on that, as a guitar player, do you have to have some sort of special innate talent to be a really good guitar player? Or is it just all hard work? Or are you kind of born with something inside of you? How do you see that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would have never, I wouldn't have been, I would have said, it's interesting you bring that up, because when I work with the kids now with Life by Music, there's some kids I'm just like, oh, you could be really good, but then, another kid is like, okay, if you worked really, really hard at it, you could be really good.
So
But
some kids have a natural ability to it.
Yeah.
And others need to work harder. Do you think that the kids that work harder and the kids that have the natural ability, could they get to the same platform, or will that person with the same natural ability always excel past?
I think the kid who works harder goes farther.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So it's all about hard work when it comes down to it. Yeah. Some kids that have the innate ability are lucky that they have the innate ability and may not have to work as hard.
Yeah.
But the hardest worker is the one who's going to be the most successful.
Yeah. And then the word work becomes so subjective, because, when you're an artist, especially in this day and age and growing up in the MySpace days, work is like, how do you get that? How do you get your brand to be something that how do you become popular?
Right.
That's the work. Like there's no like, here's how to be popular. Work at this for 10 hours a day and you'll be a master of being popular. And so that is one of the biggest aspects of success, is like how do people want to listen to your stuff? Do people want to see you play?
Sure.
And that is something that's not necessarily can be taught.
Yeah.
So
you're talking about the social media aspects of things, getting your name out there, playing music that people like, those kind of things. Creating the music, do you have to have a creative ability, or once you know how to play the guitar, you can kind of build off of that and create your own music?
Yeah, I think you can. Well, I think that if you have it in you, it doesn't matter how good you are on the guitar, though. You could go and make it happen. And that's another thing that we try to share, as like, you don't have to be the greatest guitarist, and you can do all the things. Like I was, what makes me giggle is, growing at LVA, we would have these recitals. I think it was like every, not month, but maybe bi-monthly.
Okay.
We would have to wear tuxedos. We'd play classically. I wish I had some pictures of pulled up, but maybe I could try and find some.
Yeah.
And put them in right here.
Nice.
Right now. But going back to those LVA recitals, the academy, we started recording our recitals and stuff. And this is what that was kind of part of it too. You could learn like music tech at LVA, which was amazing. And we would have our Friday night recitals. And I was first chair. I was up in the first. We led. I was not the best or worst by the time we got to senior year. But I would stand up. We would have these parts where a handful of us could solo. It's like everybody gets a solo,
right?
And it's just us jamming on the chords. And it was a great example of I would do my thing, stand up, and like yeah. yeah. You know, it felt so good. My hair standing up on my neck. Hey, the crowd loved it. And then Monday morning, when we like listen back on the solo, it's like that solo actually wasn't that good.
Yeah.
You know, it really wasn't compared to the
but
other
good
solos.
for a teenager in high school.
Well, no. Even good for the other teenagers sitting next to me. I'm just like
Okay.
not being the best.
I see.
Like I
Okay.
was not. That was not the best solo. Oh, there was much better players.
Okay.
But there was, I don't know. They cheered. You know,
Yeah.
I got the loudest applause kind of thing.
Okay.
So there's that aura and the like. You give it, you fake it until you make it kind of thing.
Sure.
You know? And so that's to kind of go back to your question of, you know, some people just have the aura to make the things that they do good.
Some
seem
people
so
knows how
good.
to. Some people know how to create that feel where it just feels good.
Yeah.
And other players are just more technical players that can play the phone book or whatever.
Yeah.
Without a problem. And then some people just know what to play.
Yeah.
Right?
So I graduated from LVA, didn't leave town, didn't really want to go into the guitar program at UNLV, but did go to UNLV. Mm-hmm. And at UNLV is when we were like, we're practicing every day. The band's winning battles of the bands, and we're doing these things. We're starting to showcase. You know, we're moving forward. We're certain that we're going to sign. We don't know when. We don't know how.
Where were you guys playing Battle of the Bands? Because I know you guys had won some stuff here locally, but then you guys were also going to LA. Were you going to LA at that time and winning Battle of the Bands out there too?
So the first time I ever played in LA, I was I think a freshman in college.
Okay.
Yeah. So, you know, it was like a showcase. Like, oh, if we go play the Whiskey, you know, Rob McDermott might be there. Andy Gould might, you know, Andy Gould, like because of Dylan Hanahan. Yeah. And so we're going to LA and we're popping up there, and I wasn't going to stop. I wasn't going to start studying law, and it was like, well, what are you going to do with yourself? You know, we're at a party in Aaron Turner's backyard, his parents' backyard.
Okay.
You know, it's like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? What do you want to do? Ryan, what are you going to do, man? And I was like, life by music, man. I just like said it, you know.
Okay,
I just said those three silly little words. Life by music, man. Like, duh.
Yeah. I mean, come on now, man.
Come on,
why would you even ask a question?
Honestly, I probably Diablos. Yeah, that was 2008. Nice. Classic. So that was the second Battle of the Bands we won. We had won one in 2005 for 10K. And then we won. I love it. They capitalized the O and the W.
Nice. Yeah.
Nice. Rock the Roof. Beautiful. So that's when Life by Music was born. The saying.
Okay.
Boom. So the saying started there, and then it was just kind of like a mantra, you know, like life by music, baby, life by music. We're going to be rock stars, life by music, you know, and that's how those three words started.
Okay.
Was a party in the backyard, us chasing our dreams in Las Vegas and being relentless. And, you know,
when you guys won 10K, were you guys like, oh my God, we're rich?
Yeah, we made it. You know, and I wonder, I'm like, dude, where does that 10K go? You know, like it paid for recordings and it paid for merchandise. And then, but I was so young that I didn't pay attention to any of that money.
Right.
You know, I just didn't like our manager at the time, Mark Hornsby, was amazing. And I don't think that anybody, honestly, but it was just, we were young and it's like, we didn't have a real plan for things. You know, it was like, oh yeah, you need that guitar pedal. Or, you know, you need that new cymbal. Oh, you need that too. You know, before you know it,
it's gone.
Yeah. So I'm sure we used it to go we played in San Diego once or twice and at the time, but yeah, we're just building it up, you know? So
sure.
But that's when you say, when you ask about kids, I see kids now where I'm like, man, you've got it. This kid has got it, you know? If you just practice. And then other kids are really, really excited to learn, but don't necessarily have it. And I love that. I actually asked Mr. Swick this a handful of months ago because our outreach has grown since we haven't been touring as much. I've had a major opportunity to focus on Life by Music. And so I go to these different at-risk, like
what
mission high
is
school.
Life by Music?
Yeah.
So let's start there. What is Life by Music?
So from the mantra, it then became that's when we started printing some stuff.
Right.
Yeah. So that motto turned into, all right, it's a positive musical movement. Let's get everybody on this like motto,
Mm-hmm.
And so it was just the positivity of music, the empowering aspect of music and how it can connect the world,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what we're slowly.
So it was about connecting everything together, but at that point, it really wasn't like, I don't know what it is. It's just something.
Yeah, it was just something more.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like it was like a power. It was like, what is Burning Man?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't, and I'm sure there's many burners that have an exact definition of it.
Sure.
But from the outside perspective, it's like, I don't know. You got go there and you'll know. And like,
Sure.
what is Life by Music? Well, be a part of the sound, be within the creation and the performance and the collaboration of instrumentation and artistry,
Mm-hmm.
and then you know what it is.
Sure.
Because one thing that we do say is like, whether you're a musician or not, there was some point in your life, or either in the life of someone that means a lot to you, that has affected your life, where music hit your soul. If it wasn't your own, it was someone else's. It ties everybody in. There was a moment where, man, that one song that you fell in love to, or that one song that gave you life when, your grandmother passed away. And,
I mean, countless people, everybody for the most part, can say, a song comes on and it's like, I know exactly where I was when I 1st heard that song, right? It's definitely a part of life.
Yeah.
For sure.
So it's it represents making that one of the most important parts of life for all people,
Mm-hmm.
And I've been quoted saying, as the executive director now, that music is a language meant for all humans to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what Life by, but at the time.
So that you transformed that motto, that thought process into a nonprofit organization, a company.
Yeah. It became a 501c3. But before that, that's when we did some prints, because we're like, let's make some shirts.
It was almost like a brand.
It was
right?
a brand.
It was a brand and an identity for people to collectively come together for the same cause.
Mm-hmm. For the same cause where music is a power that can enrich people's lives. Mm-hmm. And so we made a shirt, the Earth's Jam Band, that had Jesus on a dinosaur.
Yeah, that was so cool.
We found a couple of those t-shirts.
Oh, really?
Left over. Yeah, a couple of
Do you have the original artwork where we could get those things reprinted?
We
That'd
should.
be cool.
Honestly, we should.
Yeah.
But do you think, and we should, and I will, but do you think it was that? And I wondered this too, because I wasn't trying to be like blasphemous by any means.
Well, yeah, my wife would say things like, that's kind of using, what is the word? Using Jesus in a wrong way, but I didn't think that when I saw it at all. I thought it was
awesome.
Like almost inspiring, right?
Yeah. And that was the whole thing about Life by Music too, is with that first initial image, it's like, how do we connect everything? Well, like Jesus on the dinosaur with a guitar and on a T-Rex, and then the T-Rex has got a drum. He's like marching,
he's jamming too.
So Jesus is shredding and T-Rex is rocking the drums, and then it's like, see, music connects everybody, like everybody.
Right. Yeah.
So that
everybody and everything. I mean, it's funny because I can watch my dog sometimes. I'll put a song on and my dog stops. When I'm playing guitar at the house, which I play terribly, by the way, but I can play guitar.
You can strum a chord or two, man.
And well, I'll play, and my dog will stop, and he will watch me play.
Yeah.
Cool. he is you can see that he's listening.
It's phenomenal. It truly is. And I don't even know if we give it the entire justice that it deserves as a power, you know.
Yeah.
And that is part of life by music, is we're going to live our life by music and spread the power as best as we can, you know, and continue it to grow. So from that shirt and, you know, a little side, we thought about it afterwards, because Dino De Maria and I made a instrumental record. We had Nick Giordano on it. We had Andy Pugh engineer it and produce it, and it was called Supersonic Sex Spice.
Yeah.
Life by Music presents Supersonic Sex Spice. Shortly after that, we're like, man, we're working with kids now. We got to get rid of that. You know, like we should have probably named it something else. We just thought it was so funny. You know, it's like, let's do something together.
Well, it was very romantic type of music.
Oh, I always loved making music. Yeah.
It totally was. It was like the rock and roll R&B kind of vibe to it. You know?
It was Supersonic Sex Spice.
Yeah. Like it is exactly what it was called. It really was.
Yeah, it was good. It was really cool. And, you know, it was a chance for us to start creating with another intention of not just, it's like this motto. It's such a beautiful thing. You know, I got it on my skin, you know, I'm going to the grave, and hopefully the next life I'll wake up like another life
Jesus
by music.
Dinosaurs, baby.
Yeah. So we started with that t-shirt, and I'm just kind of pushing that. It's a positive musical movement. And then it was suggested to me to turn the motto into why don't you make this a 501c3? Why don't you make this a nonprofit? You know, it was at the time a pretty wealthy dude I met in El Paso. Shout out James Stewart. He suggested, why don't you turn this motto into a 501c3? I think I could help you. And I was like, man, that sounds pretty amazing.
Yeah.
You know, to run a nonprofit. You know, I never thought about it that way. And so slowly we got the 501c3 exemption status. We worked hard to make it happen, and worked with UNLV law students, and they helped us get the incorporation status with the government. And then it slowly built from there. You know, it built into something that now is just amazing. I'll tell you all about it.
That's great. Yeah, let's take a quick break, and we'll come back and tell us all about that.
Absolutely. All right, and we'll tell you all about it.
Fantastic. Why don't you tell us all about that, Ryan?
Yeah. So Life by Music has now become a fully fledged 501c3 nonprofit.
Awesome.
Organization, which is a beautiful thing. It's quite the outfit that we have now. And man, we put on music education events, like special customized music education events. Our first ever, I can't really see it here, but let's see if I can take this off. I'll mess it up in the shot, but the first ever was this booklet we made, Guitar Magic, which was a collaboration on, like, we wanted to get instruments to kids. Like, how do we turn this positive musical movement that was suggested to become a nonprofit? Well, what does a nonprofit do? What is it really? And like, yeah, music can help everybody, but if you really want to get specific, tailor it to kids.
How can you get music to kids?
Get them instruments, right? Get the instruments in their hands. Get them playing, get them making noise, exposing the sounds to kids who have never heard them before. You know, the sound of a guitar being strummed, or hitting a djembe drum, or hitting the keys on a piano. And, you know, it was like, okay, we got to get guitars to them. And then it was suggested, like, hey, look, you get a kid a guitar, you teach him one time, and then the guitar just collects dust in the corner. So it's like, okay, how do we create something that we can give to these kids that they can go back to? And that's where Guitar Magic was created. It's a booklet that shows you where the notes are on the guitar and how to play them. And each note has its own animal and virtue. So, for instance, the A note is the attitude alligator. The B note is the bravery bear. and it goes all the way through, all the animals from A to G. And there's a poem attached. And now that's grown into the online course that we're going to have, where we discuss this whole booklet. And now Guitar Magic can be bought and given to kids all over the world.
Well, and you've traveled across the United States, and you'll, in the middle of your touring, you'll stop at these schools and do lessons with the kids. Maybe before your show that night, you guys will stop in, do lessons with the kids, provide guitars, give away guitars, and then go play your show at night, correct?
Yeah, we have done that. And that was the whole goal too. One of the things of why it sounded so great was we were touring for so long, and it's just tour, go to the next, play the show, party all night, drive to the next place, repeat. And it was like during the day, it was like, dude, what are we doing? We're away from our family. How do we do something that's like
positive?
There's more. How do we do something more with this, with our careers as performing artists and writers and rockers? And so, yeah, we created that, and we have done it. We've done Guitar Magic events in Salt Lake City, San Diego, Long Beach, New York, Nashville, Colorado, and I might be missing.
Don't forget here in Las Vegas.
Oh,
too,
Las
right?
Vegas especially.
Yeah. So you're cruising around every week doing things here.
We've done a lot of stuff, in the last, since the creation, we've gotten out about 500 of these booklets, which we're planning on just getting it. It's building. Like this next school year that's coming up, we're going to make sure now we're in a position.
And hundreds of guitars too, not just the booklet, right? But hundreds of guitars as well.
Yeah. We have gotten out the instrument donations to the classrooms, the high school guitar programs. We actually have an event next week that's celebrating, I want to say 130 guitars.
Great.
That we're getting to Clark County.
Great.
The school district.
So next week, and I believe there's a little kind of gala event that's going for
it.
It
is private,
right?
so if it's a private event that was sponsored by one of our board members' companies, and it's going to be an awesome time. But we're
Odyssey, correct?
Odyssey Real Estate Capital, Odyssey Real Estate Group, and they are an amazing real estate company, a commercial real estate company. And Ben Ralph's, shout out to him and his podcast, and he's a good guy. And they put this together. They put the event together, and us with our donations, our strategic partners, and our strategic plan is to get instruments not only to kids who have never played music before, and to create that spark for them and be the reason they first experienced music, but also to help existing programs that now when we do our guitar donations and our instrument donations, kids can take home instruments that couldn't take home instruments. And so it's an important thing of, those are the kids who really want to learn and they haven't had the opportunity. And I've heard this firsthand from teachers when we go and hand deliver the guitars, because that's what we do. After next Friday, that next week, I'll be driving around to the schools to get the guitars in the classrooms.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. And that grows, this is all grown from, that initial thing where Mr. Swick let me play guitar, in the classroom. And so now we've donated 350 guitars. It might be more. I'm going to say under.
Okay.
I'm going to say less. 350.
I mean, that's fantastic. 350 guitars to schools all across the country, and it gives kids the opportunity. What's your goal? What goal are you shooting for on the school side of things? Because I know there's another side of things too that we'll get into. But on the school side of things, what are you trying to shoot for this year?
This year in just Las Vegas, I want to double that. I want to double what we've already done just in Las Vegas. But in the next 2 years, 1,000 guitars.
Okay, great.
Yeah, to programs all over. And that's how we're growing, and I appreciate your help in helping me, scale and understand how to treat because it's okay. If you can have a nonprofit, you treat the nonprofit like a business.
It is a
a
business.
business.
It is a business.
You know?
Yeah.
And yeah, it says nonprofit, non-for-profit, but the only way it runs is if money's coming in to support that.
Correct.
And
there's and I assume that there's different ways that people can help the cause, and there's also things that you're putting together in order for people to donate and things like that too as well.
Alex, can we take a gander at our website? Let's look at the Life by Music website.
Great.
And this is somewhat of our mission statement now of create a world where everyone believes in and connects with their inner artist. And it's not just children anymore. You know, it's bigger than just at-risk youth.
You have a military program now, and I know you've done a couple of classes with that. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So Alex, scroll up and let's go to programs. Let's go to let's click there, and scroll down a little bit. Rock and guitar, rhythm camp. These are all our youth programs, but here now we have grown our outreach to not just the youth and at-risk youth, but now as proud Americans and first-generation Americans, we created a veterans outreach program, music outreach, to where we teach guitar and songwriting to veterans.
And that's free for the veterans, correct?
It is free, yeah.
Yeah.
And we actually have a course starting. I hope the link works right now. Alex, can you? Yes. So you go here and you can apply here. It starts August 13th. Here are the course details. Awesome. So perfect. Yep. This is our veterans outreach, shoulder to shoulder. And it's starting August 13th. And you can apply for free. You know, limited space. We do it at a very cool venue called The Space, which is run by a great guy named Mark Shunnock, philanthropist here in town. He's the voice of the Golden Knights, top ranked boxing, but we love using their place to do this outreach. And this is what's happening here on August 13th. And we've done this before. We did this program before, and it was amazing. You know, it's amazing to get guitars in the hands of our servicemen and women and show them that, you know, the things that they feel inside. I
know you guys have a new promo video too that you just put together where you gave out a bunch of guitars to active military members out at 29 Palms. There was a big concert held out there. You guys played with Jimmy Eat World, and then you taught and trained a lot of the troops, and then gave them guitars. And there's a new promo video out. Alex, can you pull up the promo video for Life by Music and kind of share that with the audience?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. We got to work with active duty now as well, not just veterans.
Yeah, it was a pretty incredible experience to watch these guys. And how quickly they learned.
Ryan, Adrian, Joe, Sean went out to get a guitar. We're the band Otherwise. We're going to be playing tonight with Jimmy Eat World, but we also run a music organization called Life by Music. We work with at-risk youth and teens. And in the last 2 years, we've expanded our outreach to veterans, and now we get to work with active duty. So thank you guys for the sacrifices that you're making so that we get to go play and live our dreams. So this is in essence, we hope that we can offer some of our knowledge so that we can enrich your guys' lives. That's why we're here today. This is actually the first time we get to work with active duty, which is super cool. We've been trying to do this for a long time. Eddie, a dynamite goodbye, Eddie. We got to find a new acronym though. I mean, I don't know if that's the best one.
Those are the string
Every
names.
amateur does get better eventually. So, you know, hopefully this little hang that we get to have right now will inspire you guys to want to play, and you'll get better and better and better. So E-A-D-G-B-E, okay? And then we're going to take our third and fourth fingers.
So cool.
We're going to put them on the third fret. There you go, on the third fret. Yes, exactly. Oh, we got a shredder over here. You're a secret shredder, aren't you? I saw that right hand, dude.
He was good
Now
too.
let's
Yeah,
try and
he
strike
was.
all 6. Boom, boom, boom. Nice. Try to get that bullseye too. Yeah, look, right there. That's a good spot. Bullseye looking good. Okay, when we have our 2 fingers on that G chord, we can do more. This is more, I like to call it the simple G chord. We'll start here, and if we have time, we'll add our 3rd and 4th fingers. Okay. So right here with our picks. Now let's try it and just strum through all 6 strings.
I was so pleasantly surprised that they could play. Like we actually were playing together.
Oh, I was too. I was like impressed by the end of the hour how well they were playing the song.
Yeah. And then we made sure that the guy who created the video, shout out Steele Rutherford, we're like, you got to show the actual concert that night because it was crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there was 8,000 people at this concert, at the show, and you guys absolutely killed it out there. So it was fun, and I got to feel the vibe on stage because I was running around trying to record you guys at the same time, get some B-roll going.
We have a music initiative called Life by Music. The tent is right over there. We're going to be there later. It's all about getting music education, instruments, to people that need it.
This was the cherry on top right here.
For the first time, we were honored. We are proud civilians. We are so thankful to be Americans. We were honored to teach some Marines, some rock and roll. We just want to let you know, those guitars you guys played this morning, they're yours.
You guys get to take them home, man, right now. They're yours.
Hey, give it
Take them back to the lyrics, man.
Here's the scene right
These
here.
guitars are yours.
Here's the money
Life
shot.
by Music,
Boom, baby.
Thank you
Yeah,
all for
there it
letting
is.
us chase
Yeah.
our dreams.
Life by Music is super thankful for all your support. We could not do this without the support of our communities and people who believe in the power of music. So thank you so much. Lifebymusic.org. Follow us on socials and keep spreading the power of music because music can change lives and music will win. So
Awesome. Alex,
Yeah,
can
you
you
had
pause
one
it
of
right there?
the-
Can you pause it right there? Yeah. So whoever's watching it, you can donate. Click that QR code and pull it up, and we can do more cool events just like that.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, it's awesome. I can't say enough about how successful that was and all the events that I've been out to with you. How great everything has turned out, and how thankful the military has been for what you guys do on that end. And at the end of the video, there, you guys had an extra guitar on stage, and one of the kids that was running security there, who is also, of course, a Marine. He reached out for it, and your brother handed it off to him. And then as we were leaving at the end of the night, you saw him, jumped out the car, and ran over to him to give him a little lesson on how to play that bad boy.
It was just awesome, dude. Like
Yeah.
that's been a dream to do stuff like that. You know?
Yeah. Well, shout out to Dave Chaffez and Brian Lee
Yes.
for bringing you guys out there and allowing you guys to do that. I know that those guys said all that
Pro
stuff.
MVP, right?
Pro Sports MVP.
Pro Sports MVP. Yeah.
Mhm.
They, it's hard to get things pushed through in the military.
Yeah.
It takes.
There's a lot of hoops to
very
jump through.
A lot of
Yeah.
hoops, and those guys, David and Brian, they helped us jump through them because they offered us the gig. And we're like, dude, that could be a perfect time to do an event, do a Life by Music event. We're doing the shoulder-to-shoulder outreach for veterans. Hey, David, what do you think? He's like, I'll make it happen for you guys.
Right. Yeah. Thanks for that, David. You're awesome for that, man.
Yeah. We got to send that video to him.
Yeah, we do. We
So.
do. I have the link on it, so I will send that to him. I'll send it to him tonight.
So that has become from Jesus on a Dinosaur and from a high school college party. Now, we've raised a lot of money. We give scholarships and donations back to music programs, music classrooms, and young artists that are going to go study music and push forward in music. We're doing a lot of stuff. We raise the money, then we give it out to where we see, hey, you need money, hey, we got it. Boom. Hey, you need instruments, we got it.
part of the stuff too with Fernando bringing his Fernando Jones bringing his
episode
stuff
3
down there and connecting all
Episode
of
4.
the blues music with the
and bringing
as well,
bringing more outreach. And we're not. I'd ever. There's better, just like there was better guitarists in high school. There's better teachers, and I could show you some chords and I can get you jamming, but I wanna hire that person who can really, really show you. Who really. So now we're at a position on our website of hiring more artists to do.
Any artists that want to
yeah.
donate some of their time, please feel free to reach out to lifebymusic.org.
Totally, except you don't have to donate your time. Like, we want to hire you to do our programming.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So it's paid gigs.
It's paid gigs. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. And that's the difference too. That's like part of why we raise funds, is so we can hire the artists to do the outreach.
Fantastic.
And then the artists and the musicians themselves are now finding a new way to be paid for the music that is within them. And that's been the goal. And that's, man, we've gotten grants from the county and from Yamava, which is the San Manuel Gaming Association that owns the Palms. We've got money from Nevada Energy, and we've got a handful of people that are ready to work, and we're just building up. We have a beautiful board of directors. Thank you for being a part of it. And even past that, man, this just going back to the toy drive we did for St. Jude's Ranch when we were printing out assets to do a toy drive at the beginning.
Yeah.
So thank you, dude.
Yeah, no, definitely happy to help on that, and excited for the future and where this movement's going to go.
Yeah. And we haven't even announced it. I should probably hire a social media manager here. But when you saw on our website, the Rock and Run weekend is announced for November 1st and 2nd.
Right. And that's getting larger too. This is the 4th annual?
This is going to be the 4th annual.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that started, during COVID, where it was like, I was out with our good buddy, Brian Saliba, and he told me that 5Ks were taking place, and we were out hiking. And we're like, 5Ks are happening. I want to put on a 5K for Life by Music. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And so it started off but I said, okay, let's do something healthy in the morning, get everybody out of the house, and then let's put on a show. But the show's got to be outside. So put together this concept for the 1-day event. Let's do this. Let's raise funds to get more guitars to the schools and get more guitar magics out to the kids. We got a mobile stage and we put it out on the green at a golf course, and the Rock and Run weekend was born. And now it's grown. This is our 4th year, and we do a 5K run, an evening concert celebration, and the Rock and Swing golf tournament all in one weekend.
That's fantastic. And you're changing the golf tourney to Friday rather than Sunday, right? So
there it is. Boom,
make it a
baby.
little easier for folks.
Exactly. So this year, the golf tournament will be on Friday, because the people that we're making it easier on is us. Right. After that evening concert celebration on Saturday
it's a
night,
little rough gig to do on Sunday.
Waking up Sunday morning the last 2 years, our director of operations, Jessie Rose, she's pretty mad. Like, what are we doing? But I'm too, like, oh my God, I cannot. We really did an emphasis on the celebration part of it.
Sure. Do you guys have anybody playing with you booked for this one? Is it just going to be you guys?
We're working on those details right now, because there's a couple different ways we can go about it.
So there's a big concert after the end of the run.
Yep.
What location is that at now?
The run will be at Sunset Park.
Okay.
Yeah, the run will be at Sunset Park, and the golf tournament will be at the club at Sunrise.
Okay. And you're still working on the location for the show?
Yes, exactly. Like I mentioned, we have a couple ideas that we're running around on.
Okay.
So it's growing, and this is our 4th year. So all the good things, man. It's exciting, and it's a great opportunity to grow. While we were touring for so long, I really wanted to do more. Being a signed recording artist wasn't enough for me, to the point of like, I probably pissed off a lot of people because I was like, we had managers who were like, man, they were pretty good for our band, but they're like, I don't care about Life by Music. It doesn't make me money. And I was like, peace, man.
Right.
I don't care. I don't care about you anymore.
Right.
You're out.
Right.
And like that's how like it meant so much. It means so much to me.
It's your life. It's part of your life. Yeah. It's a huge part of your life.
For people it really, that's how it's getting bigger and more important. And there's a lot to it, and it's exciting to keep pushing. Like today we were at St. Jude's Ranch for Children, which is a foster care. It used to be a big church. There's a better word for it, but there's like homes and the cathedral, and it's not religious.
It's kind of like a halfway house, right? For persons who are having challenges, abuse.
Yeah, well, they're like kids without families.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't even know if orphans are the right word to use anymore, but kids who are in the foster care system.
Okay.
And they don't have but they keep the kids on campus. They raise funds. They're an amazing organization. And Jess and I went through many, many hours of training so that we could work with these kids, because a lot of them have been through they've been sexually abused and traumatic experiences they've been through. It's horrible.
Yeah.
But last year for Christmas, we did our second drive for them. Instrument toy drive was the first one that we did together, and then last year we did an instrument drive, and we took 35 instruments to St. Jude's.
That's fantastic, and I'm assuming you'll do that again this year.
Yeah, I don't think we'll do it. We'll pick somewhere else.
Yeah,
because with St. Jude's, the instruments are there, and now we were there this morning teaching piano, which was super cool. It was like a full, okay, now it's happening, but we'll do it again, but we'll do it for another place, and another place and another place until there's instruments everywhere. My goal is to be part of my character is like the rock and roll Santa Claus. That's, you see me, and it's like, oh yeah, this is rock and roll Santa Claus. I got the belly to match it right now, so we're good. And the
doesn't?
But yeah, man, that's what's going on. And
well, even the for the event that's happening for the Rock and Run, some of the items that are inside here, like that REO Speedwagon drumhead, signed drumhead behind you, those items will go off in auction, right?
Yes.
There's a guitar over here too.
Yeah.
Well, it's over there. But all of our guests that are on the show, we're having those folks all sign that guitar. That'll also auction off.
Yeah, it's really the auction items are unbelievable that we get each year, and it does really well. So, there are
the Jimmy Eat World guitar will be auctioned off too.
That was something. Shout out to Jimmy Eat World that night at the 29 Palm show with the video that we showed. They signed a guitar for Life by Music. They had told them, hey, these guys otherwise runs this organization. They were giving guitar lessons to the troops earlier this morning. Will you sign this guitar for their?
Yeah, no problem. So thank you guys for that.
Yeah. So I mean, everything. We wanted to do more with our music, and now we have the opportunity to do so, and that's where we stand. At this point.
Sure.
But, otherwise created Life by Music, and then Life by Music feeds otherwise. It's like a parent, like a parent takes care of the kid, and then the kid takes care of the parent. And, maybe that is what it is,
Sure.
Maybe that, but it's more of just, the other and the wise and the other. Cause sometimes, there's been times, rightfully so also, when, it was focus on the band, focus on the music, and I'm like, no, it's got to be bigger. We got to have everything to show like how serious, and then it just gets all convoluted, where sometimes it's important to just, hey, you got a song coming out, focus on the song. That doesn't mean that you're not doing the outreach. That doesn't mean that you don't have this understanding. And that's taken me a lot of years of maturity to understand. Like, the name doesn't have to be huge. Like, what you're doing is where the focus should be, like hyper focus on the actual energy of it, not like what it looks like.
Right.
You
Not
know?
what the appearance is, but what the actual intent is and what the result that can come out of it.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think from finally being able to get things done, I've been able to understand that, you know, and that's where like a lot of artists, you know, fake it till you make it, fake it till you make it. Oh, dude, we're rock stars. But well, are you practicing? You know, are you flying that? Well, in our days, it was flying the cars. Are you flying the cars? Are you, you know, putting the work out there? Are you showing up in the scene? And with the organization is, are you showing up in the community? Are we really, you know, there's rock stars who run organizations, and, you know, there's some that have great organizations, and then there's some that are just the name, and they're not really doing anything. And I know that now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know who is and who isn't.
You can say it all you want, but it's actually, are you doing something about it, or is it just a name as a front? Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've worked with certain organizations that are amazing organizations, but then I'm like, hey, well, what about so-and-so who's like who created it? And they're like, no, that person is not, they just hand everything off, and that's okay. Right. It's okay, you know, but it's important
for you, is what you're saying. It's important for you to be part of what you're doing.
Yeah, 100%. Like to really live the life by music, you know.
Right. Sure.
And but it's exciting too, because then also, you know, we have new songs coming out. You know.
Yeah, I was just going to ask about that and just kind of pull it back around to, otherwise got some new duds going on too, right?
Yeah,
and I'm sure
man.
A lot of people are waiting on this kind of stuff. What can you tell us? I know we're a short ways away from this right now.
Yeah, it's coming up close. Everything, you know, we wait till the last minute to make, you know, like we just like, oh, guess what? We got a song coming out on August 16th. You know,
August 16th is the date then.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Actually, so the song is called Zero Fucks.
All right.
You know, we're talking about kid, you know, like blah, blah, blah. But the other side is like, hey, this song, we focus on your music, you know, like, what are you feeling? And so what is Adrian Patrick of Otherwise feeling, you know? And we linked up with an amazing producer, and his episode will be coming out here very soon. We got to work with Kane Churko once again. We have a lot of ties, a lot of wise history with him and his dad and his family. And my brother and Kane just put this banger together, man.
Well, you guys also worked on this song with Violent Idols as well, right?
Yeah, super, super cool. The second verse is Violent Idols, and Kane just produced an insane track. Alex, I think we have the. Can you pull up the pre-save? Not that our listeners can click it, but we will put the link to this in the episode's bio, in the comments. So yes, we do have a new song coming out here in a couple weeks. It should actually be dropping in 2 weeks. 2 weeks from the day this episode drops.
Love it.
Yeah, so it's exciting, man. You know, and we're pushing forward. This is our first independent track since we signed our first record deal over a decade ago, and you know, that's we wanted.
I would say
freedom.
it's the first hard rock independent track, because you guys did have one.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
You guys had
like some
one
acoustic
from
but that
the
was
Roots
in
Volume 2.
That was in between. Yeah,
record
we were
deals,
about
right?
to sign. And
Correct.
This is just we are fully independent now. This is, you know, we wanted to live and die by our own sword. And now we thankfully, everything was copacetic, and, you know, we got out of our deals and got out of management, got out of booking agent, got out of you name it. We stuck with our lawyer because our lawyer's a badass. Shout out Eric.
Yeah, EG, still waiting for you to come on the show, man.
Just
we'll
wait till
see you football season.
I was gonna say Raider season starts soon. We'll have EG in here.
Right.
But yeah, man, that's where we stand. You know, I actually, now that the episode will come out, but this week we got to go get. I got to go get ready. I'm gonna out from the warehouse out back. I'm gonna grab 15 ukuleles.
Awesome.
I'm gonna go handle that. And then what else do we have? We have another event. It's awesome. We got good stuff coming up, man. We're busy. Life by Music stuff. The new songs coming out for Otherwise.
I just feel so much more positive energy, by the way.
Yeah.
From you guys, from the band, with everything that's going on, it just feels so much more positive.
Yeah. And you have some insider understanding,
Yeah.
and we're gonna do an episode where we just talk to you about it all, man.
Yeah.
Because you're asking me about, but you've been close since it's almost been a decade now.
Yeah.
And so you've got to really see it. And when they say there's three sides to a coin, like you're that third side, bro.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
You're that third side, because you see one brother, you see the other brother, and then you the brother right around being like, yo, I see. Well,
yeah, it's been a huge experience for me over the years, just learning the music biz and meeting a lot of great people and really trying to figure out this Rubik's Cube.
Yeah. So it's good. And that's encouraging to hear that, things are more positive, they are more positive, because we were really negative when everybody was controlling us.
Yeah.
I'd rather do like this much stuff free than have all these things going on that have to be done that someone else is telling us we have to do.
Right.
And now and it's not even, let's see what happens, because we dropped this song, Zero Fucks, and we got another one in the chamber. And then guess what comes out after that is another one and another one and another one. And nobody's going to tell us what kind of music
I know
to play.
for sure that there's a handful of them already ready and set to go right now. So, and I'm excited to see how that release of these singles work out. So, and just so everybody knows, you're not having to give up the lion's share of the the money that you guys make off of this, the masters and ownership of the music.
Yeah.
It all goes to you guys, your producers and writers of these songs, which is so great.
Yeah. That's a beautiful thing about the industry now too. It's like independence is a wonderful thing.
To keep, just to give somebody context, for the majority of artists that are out there, especially in the beginning, the record label usually takes anywhere from 78 to 82% of all of the earnings of the music that comes out. And keep in mind that, the label themselves is also putting up the risk, with their dollars and cents that goes up, in fear that they, maybe nobody will listen, and then they'll lose all of those dollars and cents. But then what happens is, these bands that grow and actually have a following where they actually can start making money, then it's almost like the label takes all of that money and continues to take all of that money and continues to take it. And, the artists are left starving because they're in these no way out type of deals. And your last record label was, it was great that they were able to just let you out. They understood where you guys were coming from, and, just great people to be just, hey, no problem. We understand where you guys are at.
Yeah.
And they released you from your deal. There was still a couple of albums left on that deal. And thankfully they let you guys out of that. And the whole process was cordial, and they were great for doing that.
What I appreciate about our last record deal, we were pretty frustrated for a little bit of time because we actually wanted out the album prior.
Yeah.
We really wanted out then. And so there was a period of time of us getting out this. So the album before last, after we released that, we're like, okay, can we please? And they had said, no, we want one more chance with you guys. And we were like, I was very upset. I was not happy about that at all. And but regardless, we did that one more album, and then they let us out.
That's
so
awesome.
you know, in an industry that's full of people who are dishonest and, you know, say one thing one week and another, super thankful that it happened that way.
Yeah.
And now we got, you know, it's a really wild time where, you know, now it's quiet and it's like, oh, so I got to upload.
Could be the quiet before the storm, really.
You never know. You never can tell. You never can tell. But
I
it's
think
exciting.
we'll start finding out August 16th.
Yep. We'll put the link in the bio or in the comments in the description. Please pre-save it. And yeah, otherwise it's dropping more tracks. Life by Music's got events coming up, and we ain't done yet.
We ain't done yet. And by the way, everybody, like and subscribe to the channel if you like this.
Yes, please.
You know, please.
We've been dealing with the again, like the new stuff is us running this podcast.
Yeah.
And the things we're learning about it, you know, the things that we didn't think could be of shock value are of shock value to certain, you know, scenarios.
Yeah. One of our episodes, just so everyone knows, one of our episodes we had to take down because there was shocking content in it. And it had to do with one of our great guests here, Nateen, engineer, Dr. Nateen, engineer, who is speaking about a situation that he had to deal with, that he helped a patient out. And apparently that came back as shocking content, and it's downgraded our show at this point as far as
somewhat of a shadow
concerned.
Ban, you know, like we've been banned a little bit, but we ain't done yet. And this ain't the first time that we've had a little bit of resistance in trying to do what it is we think is right. So we just got to figure it out.
We got to figure it out, and hopefully we'll get online with Google and get everything figured out for the YouTube channel.
Yeah, definitely. But again, it's been amazing because we've gotten such feedback on the fact that we're sitting here, and we thought it would be cool to just sit down and kind of do a recap, you know?
Yeah.
And so I appreciate you asking about my side of the story as the younger brother.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, you're the other half of the band, so just as important.
Yeah, it's been great though, man. We've had amazing episodes from my brother to Joe to Dave McMahon, our former drummer, Nateen engineer, which we'll get his episode back up. We just need to find out, like, he's telling us about his job, you know? And,
right, yeah.
And we asked if he could say it, and he said yes, but then where we upload this says we can't. So we will get that episode back up. But we did have an amazing...
We may have to cut out just that portion of content in order to get it back up, but we definitely want to have that. It was a great conversation that we had.
Last week's conversation with Scott Booth was intense. What a amazing guy who went through such an insane tragedy, but lives to talk about it.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, I think I mentioned on some of the social media that you know, that guy's definitely one of my pals, and you know, he'd take the shirt off his back to give it to you if you needed it, and those are the type of people that I like having on the show.
Yeah, it's and the fact that he ain't done yet is, you know, is like amazing. I sat here and like, wow, man, this is crazy. But then we've also,
it's inspiring. It's really inspiring, and he still doesn't believe that, but the strength and power that it took, and you know, as we mentioned in the show. You know, I visited the hospital while he was there. I would literally take my office to the hospital.
You were there
and sit in his room, and to see this guy recover and see what he looked like before and after. And, you know, he provided pictures to us to put on that show last week. And because of the shocking content that we got with the Nateen engineer thing, we didn't want to put that stuff up. But he wanted to show, you know, what he went through. And we just decided that, you know, we'll just hold back on that. And it was some pretty disturbing things, you know, to see what he went through, and for him to be sitting in the studio with us. Absolutely amazing, his recovery.
And then to top that off, for him to talk about it too. And him be willing.
It was
to
hard for him.
It was really hard. And I was like, oh man, damn, you know, like I really want to know, man.
Yeah.
But then when you're really sitting with somebody, like people get to hear the tragic stories on their phone and go, oh man, and then turn it off, you know?
Right.
And they get to see it on the TV screen and go, gosh, that was horrible. But then when
Well, there's a certain level of distance between the
Yeah.
people, right? Because you're watching.
Yeah.
You're watching. It's almost as that it's not real.
Yeah.
You know, Tool wrote a song called Vicarious that deals specifically with those kind of things, right? But to have the person sitting in front of you.
it was a whole for me, I mean, I've got a chance to meet people on the road who have been through things, and you know, amputees and veterans, but to really be able to sit down in long form, and discuss it, man. I didn't, you know, we thought this would be a good idea to have this podcast, you know,
Right.
but I didn't realize, like, I left that day just like mind blown, you know.
Yeah.
Because then you take things for granted too. You know, Scott, episode 6 of Ain't Done Yet, pulled that up with Scott Booth. Beautiful man, been through absolutely crazy things. But, you know, it just reminds you of things like when I was sitting too long afterwards, you know, and my leg was like, my ankle was hurting. And I was just like, oh man, come on. And then just realizing that
Scott doesn't have legs.
we're sitting with our guy right now who doesn't. And that goes back, like my dad would always say, you know, the man who, and I'm going to screw this up because but the guy, you know, wishes for, or the guy with no shoes, you know, wishes for shoes. But then, you know, the guy who has no shoes on, there's a guy with no feet who wishes he had feet, you know?
Right.
And it's just like that relation. And I totally screwed that quote. It's a much better way of putting that quote, but the intention of it.
Yeah, totally.
My dad
understand
told
what
me
you're
that
saying.
many years ago, and he said it much better. But then to really experience it is like, oh my God,
Yeah.
what are we
yeah.
complaining about?
Yeah, mind blown stuff. I say that all the time, and you know, and my kids, I tell my kids the same thing. Like you have nothing to complain about, and I mean, you know, there's that saying, you know, there's starving people in Ethiopia, you know, or whatever. There's starving people all over the world, and you know, we all have to be just grateful for all the gifts that we do have.
Yeah, and we've already hit our goal.
Yeah.
We're like, if this podcast only helps one person, you know, then we've done a good job. And we actually got I should have had it ready, but we did get a message. We got a message from someone I do not know, saying, thank you so much for putting this podcast up and doing this podcast, because it just reminds me that I'm not done yet either. I was like, boom, baby.
There it is.
We're done. Let's
there
go.
It is. And that's it, right. Hang up the hats. We're out.
But
yeah,
it's
no,
great.
that was the original intention, and so we've met that goal, and you know, I look forward to creating more goals, and meeting more of those goals, because we ain't done yet.
Yeah, baby. Yep.
We'll see you next time.